Do you ever feel like your relationship could use more understanding and stability? If so, you're not alone. Relationships can be tough, but it actually shouldn't be. With the light of Stoicism, we will learn how to unlock her mind. Today, I will share 8 rules to make a long-lasting relationship. True love is a blessing. It requires mutual understanding and also some spice. Rules are going to get lit as we go down. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Rule 1. Empathy and understanding. Do you ever feel like you are talking and no one really is actually listening? In relationships, misunderstandings become the kind of silent storms which accumulate tension unknowingly until it booms. I believe that the lack of empathy is the main reason behind most of the fights, the thing that enriches relationships. Empathy is not about listening only, but also listening to the words and knowing what they really mean. It is about listening and feeling your partner and being very aware of who and what is around you. Whenever our partner speaks or expresses something, focusing on them, I guess this can change everything concerning communication. This is the process of eliminating things that interfere with the conversation, looking directly into the other person's eyes, and signaling that you are paying attention through head shakes or asking questions that indicate that you are actually listening. Empathy means getting out of your own world and being in your partner's. Before you get defensive or before you try and come up with the perfect response, stop for a moment. Paraphrase what they said to you so as to give them feedback for what may have been misconstrued, or so they know you are willing to take the time to process their emotions. It becomes a covert form of affirming the existence of the other and that the other is valued. Curiosity is the primary friend of empathy, especially if you don't understand their point of view. Receive your partner's emotions with love and acceptance. Sometimes, you just need to point out to her that she is right to feel that way, as this would encourage her to open up further. So yes, it doesn't require you to always say yes. What it entails is the ability to listen. Empathy is the foundation of a strong communication that helps to establish trust over the rapids of misunderstanding. It is a very weak power, but one that rings in every corner of a relationship with a reassurance. You are seen, wanted, and loved. Rule 2. The art of emotional stability. It is like standing in the middle of the storm and not swaying backward and forward. Emotional stability in relationships is not a one-way street. It operates on the same mechanics as any. It's the capacity to rise above the level of the senses at a time when, for example, anger prevails or misunderstandings occur. This isn't about putting out the fire, but about controlling the fire. They do not fuel your response. Emotional balance, as implied by the Stoic school of philosophy, is the ability to control or withhold an emotion, not in a vain attempt to deny it, but to arrive at a clearer perspective of things. The truths explained by Stoics such as Marcus Aurelius recall that it is not what happens to us that angers us, frightens us, or causes sadness, but what we think of what happens to us. In relationships, this translates to holding back before responding, order over turmoil. In other words, when we are angry or frustrated, emotional resilience helps us to make the relationship better rather than worse. Of course, one can try to maintain this balance in a practical way, for example, by doing deep breathing or grounding exercises at work. Deep breaths are conscious actions that tell your brain that there is nothing dangerous around you, and that logic should prevail over emotions. Before saying something in the heat of the moment, take a beat to reflect. Communicating through I statements, such as "I feel frustrated" when, helps express emotions without projecting blame. This subtle shift keeps the dialogue constructive and prevents defensive responses. Regular self-checks throughout the day can also help keep your emotions in line, making you more attuned to your state of mind before conversations even begin. Being emotionally stable also means becoming a reliable support system for your partner. It's about showing up, not just when times are easy, but when conflicts arise. This quiet resilience builds trust over time, reinforcing that your relationship is a safe harbor, not just during the sunny days, but when life's storms arrive. Rule 3. Open and honest communication. Honesty is the thread that weaves trust into the fabric of a relationship. Without it, misunderstandings become the norm, creating a fragile bond built on assumptions. Open communication goes beyond simply speaking. It involves listening and expressing yourself clearly and without fear. You need to be transparent about your thoughts, feelings, and expectations. Think of honesty as the light that brightens the shadows where doubts and misinterpretations thrive. Conversations become more than exchanges. They transform into spaces where both partners can reveal their authentic selves. One of the best approaches to maintaining realistic honesty in communication is to set the check-in points. These moments let you both express needs, address conflicts, and remember the goals. When doing this, do not make any accusations. However, 3 communication strategies are recommended to avoid this. Include active listening, where one paraphrases the content being said and empathizes with the speaker. When giving suggestions, don't be critical. It is important to make it appear as a way through which you can enhance your romantic ties, instead of concentrating on what is out of place. For example, replace the statement, "You never listened to me," with "I felt unheard when." It alters the paradigm of blame to an invitation to learn more about each other. Although it may sound counterintuitive to share and tell the truth, when one is in a position of power, it is this position of power that makes one feel so exposed that they can go deeper. It's a paradox. The more you willingly expose yourself to the other person, the better the understood connection between the two becomes. Secrecy, on the other hand, let alone the sowing of seeds of doubt that may result to mistrust. In conclusion, open communication means to tell the truth, even when doing it is inconvenient. It's about creating a platform that both of you can express yourselves, thinking that you will not be condemned for what you said. These honest conversations build a needy and beautiful relationship where both partners feel valued and seen and understood. A relationship that cannot be threatened by silence or lying. Rule 4. Encouraging personal growth. For any form of love, it is not acceptable to dominate, but to be a teammate. So, in order to build a long-lasting bond, one has to provide the partner with all the necessary tools to grow as a person. And at the same time, it's not only about 2 individuals living their life by the side of each other. It is about partners encouraging each other and loving each other. Building up the motivation for personal development is with appreciation of any success, no matter how insignificant it may be. If your partner has achieved a goal, no matter how small, they should know it is important to you that they succeed. Recognition is like a connector that combines 2 different people's careers into one journey. Use words which encourage them. These small acts turn into a mirror through which they see the worth they have in your eyes, and in their own eyes, too. As important is supporting your partner to remain on track regarding his or her goals. Be available to provide assistance when it is required, in terms of materials, guidelines, or in terms of ideas and approaches. However, self-governance should be upheld to the letter. Growth is not genuine when it is prescribed or controlled. Your duty is not to chart their course, but simply to fan the sails of their ship, all the while remembering that they own the ship. Practicing this requires empathy without imposing control. Avoid saying, "You should do this," and instead try saying like, "How can I support you in this?" or "Can I help you?" This approach respects their independence while showing that you're present. Also, your own growth should not be sidelined. A healthy relationship thrives on 2 evolving individuals who contribute new perspectives and ideas. Share your personal progress, be it in learning, hobbies, or career development. This practice fosters mutual respect and admiration. Remember, supporting each other's ambitions creates a dynamic where both partners feel seen as individuals. It's this very essence, the balance between togetherness and personal fulfillment, that transforms love into a lasting and enriching experience. When growth becomes mutual, so does the depth of the bond. Rule 5. Respecting boundaries. A relationship without boundaries is like a home without walls. It lacks structure, safety, and balance. Trust and harmony are critical in the friendly relations, and in this case, it is important to respect each other's space. When such boundaries are respected by two partners, the atmosphere that surrounds them becomes safe and healthy. First step is to talk about boundaries, likes and distances that people prefer to maintain both with family and friends. These talks should not be regarded as walls, but as the frames providing vision of how people need to treat their fellows. Boundaries can be psychological, and they can also be social media based and wants personal space after work. I believe familiarity with these aspects helps avoid such sensations as suffocation and consequent neglect. Listening and observing nonverbal cues are equally important. Silence, tense body language, or subtle shifts in behavior can signal when a boundary is being approached or crossed. Cultivating an awareness of these signs ensures that you don't push too far, even unknowingly. In respecting boundaries, small gestures go a long way. Asking before sharing personal details about your partner, or checking in before making plans that affect both of you. Communicate your own boundaries with clarity, not defensiveness. A simple, "I need a moment to gather my thoughts," or "I'm not comfortable discussing this now," sets a precedent that boundaries are healthy and should be honored. Enforcing them consistently without apology strengthens self-respect and teaches your partner to value them too. Over time, as relationships evolve, so do boundaries. Revisiting these conversations keeps both partners aligned and adaptive to each other's growth. This practice is not about creating distance, but rather fostering closeness through respect. It shows that loving someone means protecting not just their physical presence, but their emotional and psychological well-being. A relationship enriched with this mutual respect becomes a space where both partners can thrive authentically and feel valued. Rule 7. Gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude isn't just a gesture. It's the thread that holds relationships together and keeps them vibrant. It may sound simple, even cliched, but the most effective way of changing how partners feel about each other is to make sure that you always appreciate them. It also acts as a sign that they do add value into each other's lives, in a cycle like a virtuous cycle of increasing emotionality. We don't always have to tip it over to the grand gestures to show appreciation. The best gestures of appreciation are tiny but powerful, and I appreciate your presence, or a simple "thank you for being there," or a note that is left on the kitchen table that can help warm up a partner's day. Making it even more specific is even more powerful. Instead of using a simple "thank you," demonstrate it like this: "I wanted to thank you for giving me your time and listening to me yesterday." This tells your partner not only that you saw what they did, but that what they did is important to them. Beyond words, actions can embody appreciation. A cup of coffee made in the morning, taking over a chore without being asked, or planning a surprise date are tangible ways to show that you care. After a good, sexy night, be extra caring toward her. These acts reinforce that your partner is seen and cherished, fostering an atmosphere of mutual respect and care. Incorporating rituals such as sharing a gratitude journal, noting things each member is thankful for, adds an element of reflection. The beautiful way this could remind you as to why you are together, particularly in bad times, is being discussive always regarding the things one appreciates about others. Psychological research has documented that the practice of gratitude is associated with relationship quality and personal well-being. Gratitude fuels a vicious circle of good things between the two partners, who will induce the continuation of such acts from one another. Making the relationship grow, it improves the emotional stability of the two persons. Gratitude is then applied as a day-to-day form of affirmation, reminding the partners about their journey together and why they chose each other. With gratitude, love is not only a feeling, but a living practice. Rule 8. Fostering a balanced and mutual partnership. A thriving relationship is like a well-tended garden. It needs balance, care, and cooperation from both sides to flourish. When one partner of the partnership assumes most of the work or contributes heavily, and the other simply collects, then the partnership is sure to collapse. However, a healthy relationship is characterized by the equal efforts, the mutual responsibilities, and the recognition of the personal identity of each of the partners. Establishing this balance can be based upon recognition by both parties that each is of equal value to the other and has its assets and liabilities. It means the tendency towards being fair, be it in division of housework, division of financial responsibilities, or emotional support. It is not like splitting everything right down the middle, but acknowledging each other's strengths and weaknesses and sharing responsibilities appropriately. Equal importance must also be granted to the ability to support each other's independence, as with teamwork, support each other's jobs, interests, and desire for privacy. This means that they do not rely on each other like codependent couples do, and since they do not smother each other's growth, they end being better partners. A relationship is not about becoming someone's second self. It is about being the best that you can be and offering your partner the same. Discussions of goals referring to oneself, pursuant, financial, or relational, can ensure both have similar goals and work cohesively. This approach turns all the difficulties into fun and successes into shared victories. It also helps you learn each other's areas of interest and grow in a more profound and stronger manner when you set and achieve goals together. A balanced partnership is also resilient in facing challenges. When life throws its inevitable curveballs, partners who practice mutual support can adapt and grow together rather than apart. This involves being each other's anchor in stormy weather and cheerleader in times of triumph. Ultimately, a balanced and mutual partnership cultivates an environment where love can deepen, trust can solidify, and both individuals feel seen, respected, and cherished. By fostering this equilibrium, relationships become not just about surviving, but truly thriving in harmony.